Is liberty dying where you live? Escape to Keene at freekeene.com.
Audio record this as well.
How are you today?
Morning, how are you? Good.
Good morning, Mr. Eyre. How are you?
Morning.
And am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Eyre?
That's correct, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can call me Pete, though.
I guess one of the bailiffs said someone was chalking yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Some older guy. I don't know if it was Ken or who.
All right. Have a seat, thank you.
All right, Peter Eyre.
That's correct.
All right, this is a city ordinance matter. Do you have a copy of the complaint here?
I do.
Yep, we have this one here.
Not with me, but I've seen.
Do you need a copy of it in front of you for the hearing?
Thank you.
All right, the procedure is the prosecutor here that will go forward with their burden of proof. They'll give their, you have one witness?
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
remain seated here, we'll do a little more informal in here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
They'll give their testimony. If you have any questions to ask when the witness is done testifying, you can ask questions. You don't have to ask any questions if you don't want to. It's up to you. When the state's done with their presentation, if you wanted to make any motions, you can make motions at that point. Or if you wanted to testify, you could. You're not obligated to testify. They have the burden of proof, and you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. You understand that?
Yes.
Any questions about the procedure?
Nope.
Is this a good address for you, the 29 North Lincoln Street?
Yeah, that's good mailing.
Okay, is that a good mailing address for you? Okay, so if I have to take it under advisement, if I send an order out, you get it at that address?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. State will call as a witness Leslie Collier. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give this court is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please identify yourself for the court, your name and how you're employed?
I'm Police Officer Leslie Collier. I work for the City of Keene Police Department
And how long have you been so employed?
since January of 2010
And in what capacity are you employed with the police department?
as a patrol officer.
And do you recall whether you were on duty on the morning of March 23rd, 2013 at approximately 3:57 in the morning?
I was.
And did your patrol take you in the area of Leverett Street?
Yes.
And while you were patrolling Leverett Street, did you observe any vehicles parked on the side of the road?
I did.
And do you recall what vehicle it was?
Yep. Would you like the license plate or?
If you recall it, yes.
I can't, that's what I'm saying, but
Would a reference to your to the complaint that you drafted help refresh your recollection?
yes.
So here, I'm going to be showing Officer Collier a copy of the complaint that you received as discovery. It was page 1 of discovery that was sent to you.
It was a New Hampshire license plate. Two, 4, 8, 7, 3, 9. It was a.
Are you sure?
I don't think this one has it. I think it does.
Um,
Oh, there it is.
Down at the
New
bottom.
Hampshire 3220632. It's a black Tahoe.
Okay. And what did you do when you saw that vehicle?
I saw that it was stationary and was unoccupied, so I pulled up behind it and I wrote out a city parking summons.
I'm showing you a document now which you received as discovery, page 3. And would you be able to identify that for the court?
It's a state of New Hampshire registration.
And is that a certified copy?
It is, it has a raised seal in the corner.
Okay, and what does that indicate?
This is for registration number 3220632, the black Tahoe registered to Peter Eyre.
And is Peter Eyre the defendant in this case?
Yes,
Okay. And are you familiar with Mr. Eyre? Would you be able to recognize him?
I would, yes.
And is he in this courtroom?
He is, he's sitting across the table.
Thank you. And, Your Honor, the state would like to submit this.
This is being offered as evidence of the registration of the car in question. Do you have any objection to my seeing that?
Are you familiar with any law or ordinance that prohibits a vehicle, strike that. Just to reiterate, was the time that you saw this vehicle between the dates of November 1st and April 30th of 2012, 2013?
Yes,
And was it between the hours of 1 a.m. and 6 a.m.?
yes,
And is a parked vehicle on Leverett Street between those dates and those hours a violation of any law or ordinance that you are aware of?
yes it is.
And what is that law or ordinance?
Section 94-95 of the City of Keene Code.
Okay, and Your Honor, the state would like to submit to this honorable court the sections of Keene ordinance. 94-95 begins on page 11 of this packet and goes to, runs through page 13 of 13. And the state would ask that this honorable court take judicial
Mr. Eyre
notice.
seen it?
Yes, Mr. Eyre has received this as part of discovery. The specific pages were pages 20 through 22 of discovery
Any
sent out.
objection to that?
And the state would ask that the honorable court make judicial notice of this, and I have a copy again for you, Mr. Eyre.
And what line in particular are you asking me to?
On page 11, sections 94 to 95, snow and street maintenance, period, section A.
There's a long list there. Where you directed my attention?
The list is not applicable. The list are exceptions in the central business district, and Leverett Street is not included in that list. And at the time of when you placed the summons on the vehicle, did you have any contact with the defendant, with Mr. Eyre?
No,
Okay. And the state has nothing further.
Okay, as I said before, if you have any questions you want to ask this witness, this is the time to ask them if you have any.
Can I do a motion to dismiss at this time?
If you're going to waive your opportunity to ask any questions, you don't have to.
Okay, I guess I'd ask Ms. Collier, was there any victim that night?
Your Honor, the state would object for relevancy. No relevance as to whether there was a victim or not. There's an ordinance that makes the action of having the vehicle on the street a
Well,
violation.
maybe you could refine it. If you could explain what you mean by a victim, if you could characterize it differently perhaps.
It's my understanding that these statutes and the legislation that's purported to be law exist to protect people and property, and specific ordinance that's being levied at me based on where my vehicle was parked, which I don't deny, didn't cause any damage to a person or property, and thus I would hope.
All right, that is more of a motion than a question, I
Okay.
suppose, so. All right, so,
Well,
unless you argue that, when the case is over, if you want to make that argument,
Okay,
you'd
well,
certainly be free to do that at the time.
So the statute that you wrote on this ransom note and gave me related to snow and street maintenance, was there any snow that night on the street?
I believe there's snow in the yards and snow banks, yeah.
Right, but was there snow on the street?
I'm not sure if it was on the street.
I submitted to Mr. Lauren here a video of that night and the weather report from that night and 2 other nights, to 2 previous nights that showed no precipitation here in Keene. I guess I'm curious why then you think this statute about snow removal is applicable?
Well, the witness would have had to, first you should ask her if she saw those videos or that information, otherwise she wouldn't be able to answer the question.
Okay, are you privy to the information that I shared with Mr. Lauren?
I haven't seen any videos.
Reciprocal discovery. Well, I mean, I shared with him the discovery as asked, so I'm not sure.
Well, you'll have your chance to give me your side of things. This is just a chance to ask her questions. If you don't have any more, that's fine. If you have more, you can go ahead and ask them.
Okay, so you noted that there was snow on the yards, which I agree to per the video from that night, but you're not able to give a definite answer that there was snow on the street that night.
I couldn't say to what amount of snow there was on the street.
And you didn't see any vehicles around or any property that had been damaged by my truck?
Not that I'm aware of.
No one complained to you that my truck or myself caused them any harm?
I guess I don't understand the question, but harm in what way?
There was no complaint made? Nobody complained to you that I or my truck caused them harm that night?
We frequently get complaints about parking on the street at night.
Right, but that specifically, did you receive a call that I had caused, or my truck had caused anybody harm that night?
Not that I'm aware.
So there's no victim to your knowledge?
I guess it depends on what you mean by victim.
Well, if you're admitting that that you're not aware of any person that was harmed or any property that was harmed, it seems, are you able to point to any victim or property that was damaged that night?
Your Honor, asked and answered.
You asked a question, she answered that it would depend on what she meant by a victim, so.
Right, a victim, I mean, could you give me your definition of a victim?
In relation to parking, I'm not sure what you mean by a victim of a parking summons.
That's enough said, and I have no more questions.
Okay, anything else from the prosecutor here?
Nothing.
Okay, all right, did you want to testify?
Sure.
Okay, please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm that anything you say here be the truth?
Always.
Okay? Go ahead.
I just want to make clear that there was no victim that night. The statute allegedly applicable per Ms. Collier's ransom note and this pursuant of this issue by Mr. Ward is, I would say, frivolous. It's a waste of my time, it's a waste of y'all's time. To me, it's done for nothing more than revenue collection. There's been no victim that's been able to be pointed to, no damage to anybody's property, there's no complainant. The statute was allegedly created to allow for the clearing of streets of snow, to allow the free flow of traffic, and thus far, Mr. Ward and Ms. Collier have been unable to show that there was actually even any snow on the street that night. I shared with Mr. Warren discovery that showed video from that night, and provided him with the weather from that night and the previous 2 nights that showed no precipitation. So it's pretty clear to me there's no victim, and as such there's no crime. So this ransom note is without merit.
All right, anything else?
I'm welcome to take any questions. I have
Okay.
nothing.
All right, any questions for Mr. Eyre?
Just 2. Was your vehicle parked on Leverett Street on the night of March 23rd, 2013 at approximately 3:57 in the morning?
It sure was.
And are you would you deny that that makes it in violation of section 9495 of the municipal code?
Well, again, I didn't sign this contract. I don't believe anything anyone puts on paper and says is applicable to
Well,
me.
it's up to the court to determine whether he's violated the ordinance or not.
Yeah, nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, anything else? All right, this is an ordinance matter. It's not a criminal case. It's not a state violation. It's a local matter. The state did carry its burden of proof here on the issue of whether he should have been charged under the particular circumstances. Really is a matter not for the court, but probably for the city council, if you wanted to address them as to whether you think they ought to change their approach to the ordinances here. So the court's entering guilty fines. It's $15, so
That is correct, Your Honor.
you plan to pay that or not?
No, I'd rather sit the time in a cage. I don't want to fund this operation that targets people for not hurting anybody.
All right, well, I'm going to give you, it's not worth going to jail over. I'm going to give you 20 days to pay it.
Well, again, I'm not going to pay this ransom note, so whatever that means, I'd rather sit an hour or a day in a cage.
Well, that's up to you. I'll give you 20 days.
And what happens if the ransom doesn't get
If
paid?
it doesn't get paid, it goes to default, and then there's a possibility you lose your driver's license from DMV. That's up to DMV to decide, though.
And then if I continue to drive and I get stopped, I could be caged.
I don't know what would happen. All I can tell you is that the court wouldn't be taking your license. The DMV would have to decide whether they thought it was appropriate. So, all
Well, I'm not paying this ransom.
Okay.
I didn't hurt anybody.
right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good job.
No?
I don't think you demonstrated good action for somebody who claims a protected service.
Have a good day, guys.
Do the right thing now.
We'd like to invite you to visit freekeene.com. Freekeene.com features audio, video, and blogs chronicling the transition to a voluntary society. Freekeene.com also has comments and discussion forums so you can be heard. Freekeene.com.
I should be in Keene, New Hampshire with the Free Staters.